Hello and welcome to Horrific Tales. In this show we celebrate the creations of independent authors and aspiring writers. Please like and subscribe and share these episodes so we can help our talented friends get as much exposure as possible. We would also appreciate if you could support our artists by following them on their individual platforms and by purchasing their works. Details on how to do this are in the episode description. In this horrific tale, a couple's retreat gives them more than they bargained for. Join us now as we present Go to Hell by Barbara Rein. Edith sat on the edge of the back seat, both hands splayed against the limousine's window. Her wide eyes took in every bit of the long meandering road leading to the resort. Picture perfect. That's what it is. Arthur, look at the Borgian villa. And look, the trees, Arthur. Coconut and palm and mango and... Climb up, Edith. You've seen one tree, you've seen them all. Edith sat back and stared at the floor mat. It upset Arthur when she voiced an opinion or pointed out the obvious. She couldn't contain herself here though. The grounds were so lush, not at all sparse like she had imagined. As the resort loomed, Edith patted and fluffed her pin-curled hair. Leave it, Edith. Nothing you can do about your looks. Dull face, dull outfit. At least they match. Arthur snorted at his own joke. He had been the one to select her shapeless brown dress, along with all the items in her meagre wardrobe. For his own fashion statement, he wore a red as parrot print shirt, the buttons straining at an overindulged belly. The limo slowed to a stop under the portico, and Arthur reached for his door handle. It was locked. He grumbled, waiting to exit from Edith's side. She barely noticed, staring instead at the Adonis helping her out of the car, blonde and bronzed with a coconut white smile. His muscles stretched, the resort's logo running across his t-shirt. He escorted Edith into the lobby, where her mouth fell into an O at the expansive tropical motif, mahogany tables, rattan divans, and golden palm fronds cascading from chandeliers. She expected they'd be going somewhere rustic, a lodge maybe, nothing classy like this. Arthur had presented her with his 4-day trip for her 50th birthday. After dinner, after she had cooked his favourite meal, a standing rib roast and strawberry shortcake, and after he helped himself to dessert before her candles were lit, he handed her an envelope. Happy birthday, Edith. As if summer's not hot enough, you're going to hell. He bent over with laughter. But be careful. When they get a look at you, it might be a one-way trip. He roared even more, choking on his own joke as he left the room. Edith opened the envelope and eased the contents onto the dining room table. 2 Pan Am plane tickets and a trifle brochure announcing, "Come to hell. We guaranteed one hell of a good time." A red and yellow phone number blazed across the cover. Inside a melange of photos showed jovial men hunting, fishing, golfing, boating. All things Arthur liked to do. Not a place she would have chosen for herself. At least she'd be going somewhere. Arthur limited her outings to the mailbox and occasional dinners at fast food drive-thrus. A few months ago, after weeks of cajoling, he finally let her go to lunch with her cousin Judy. It was worth the effort. They had a lovely time catching up with family news over Cobb salads and shared pastry. But coming home in a July downpour, she discovered Arthur had locked her out of the house. It seems he'd been tired and went to bed early. At 4 in the afternoon, Edith slept in the car that night. The Buick at least had been left unlocked. Mr. and Mrs. Cates, welcome to hell. My name is Devon, and I'll be Mr. Cates' personal counsellor for the duration. All men get assigned one. You know, good old boys sticking together. Artie, you and I are going to be best buds. I've got some great outings planned for us. With one muscled arm, Devon gave Arthur's shoulder a grunt-producing squeeze. He then turned to Edith with an exaggerated pout. I'm sorry, Mrs. Cates. There's no set schedule for the ladies. You'll have to make do with whatever you want. I hope you don't mind. Edith nodded, not sure what she was agreeing to. She followed behind as Devon, a vice grip on Arthur's arm, led them to the table of refreshments. You've had a long trip, Artie. Our bartender made this drink just for you. Our Hellfire Bloody Mary. Arthur snatched the glass of his favourite drink and guzzled the spicy liquid, reaching for a second before he had finished the first. The heat hit fast. He dropped the tumbler, clutching at his throat. With eyes bulging, the face morphing from pale to crimson and back again, he lurched about in a frenzy of philosophical distress. Oh dear, Arthur, are you alright? Edith followed his erratic path, attempting to pat him on the back, but he shoved her away with an elbow jab to the ribs. I wouldn't worry about him, Mrs. Cates. It only lasts a few minutes. And now for you. We have fresh squeezed lemonade. Edith squealed. She loved lemonade. Arthur disliked citrus of any kind and refused to allow it in the house. Devon handed her a pale, frosty glass and guided her to an armchair, his back carved in an array of brilliant peacock plumes. She sank into the plush cushion and savoured her fragrant drink, while Devon explained the activities. Every day the resort has a different theme, and lucky you've come at music day. Before Devon could explain further, Arthur staggered over and sputtered back to normal. That was one hell of a drink, boy. You trying to kill me? You look real funny, Artie. You'll be okay. Now let me show you to your room. The couple followed the counsellors brought back into the private elevator. At the third floor, the doors opened directly under their suite. Edith gasped. The entire living room bloomed. From flory silk walls to garden-themed fabrics, all done in hues of roses and lilacs, her favourite colours. Fresh flowers and cut crystal vases adored every table. His voice still raspy, Arthur croaked. This is it? I'm supposed to sleep in a goddamn greenhouse? Take me to another room. He stamped his foot. I demand another room. And don't call me Artie. I hate that name. Davin scanned his clipboard. I'm sorry, Artie, you booked late. This is the only suite available tonight. I'll see what I can do tomorrow. But don't worry. I'll be keeping you so busy you won't even notice the accommodations. Meanwhile, folks, unpack your bags and dress for dinner. We'll be going to the dining room tonight right after the show. Trust me, you're in for a real musical surprise. With a cleft-chinned chuckle, he backed into the elevator. Edith could hear him laughing even after the doors closed. Dressed in her best drab grey shift, Edith entered the auditorium behind Arthur, awed by the dizzying expanse of stars winking and glittering back in the black velvet air. She kept her voice to a whisper. Not like any theatre I've ever seen. Her eyes adjusted to the dark as Devon guided them to their seats. Arthur's voice boomed. A video screen? No live performance? What kind of garbage are you trying to pawn off on us? Trust me, Artie, you'll get a charge out of tonight's show. Now both of you, please put on your headsets. You don't want to miss the MC's monologue. He's a real scream. Edith donned her earphones, unable to take her eyes off what dangled from their armrests. Jewellery. They each had a pair of silver bracelets. Her crystal-encrusted bangles slipped on with ease. Arthur balked at donning his thick manly cuffs. Devon persisted, leaning in hard to secure the clasps, while Arthur writhed and squirmed. Although Edith couldn't hear with the headphones on, it looked like Arthur's hemorrhoids were bothering him again. Each armrest sported a small control panel that allowed for volume and lighting adjustments. Arthur's heavy bracelets hindered his reach. He strained and waggled his fingers in frustration, but shot up stiff once the performance began. It was Le Bahoum, one of Edith's favourite operas. Arthur detested opera, yet when Edith glanced at him, he seemed absorbed in an aria, eyes huge, body twitching and hands flapping at the armrests in time to the music. And, with head thrown back and mouth wide open, he looked to be singing along right with Pavarotti. A quick scan of the audience showed other men in the same pose, just as enthusiastic. Arthur went limp as the last notes died. Devon undid the cuffs and jerked him to his feet, ignoring Arthur's wobbling head and putty legs. I think we have a case of over-exuberance here, Mrs. Cates. I'll take Artie out for some fresh air. You go ahead and enjoy the meal, and we'll see you later. By the way, wasn't the show fabulous? I thought it electrifying. With a hearty laugh, he wrapped one brawny arm around Arthur's waist and hefted him out. Edith followed the aromas to the dining room, a buffet of hot carving stations, intersped with pasta bars, cold lobster displays, laboratoires of caviar, and platters of exquisite decorated canapes wrapped around the room. Picking up a dinner plate, she started for the sliced Chateaubriand and made a quick change in direction when she spied the Viennese table. With a suppressed giggle, she placed a petit four on her plate. A peek down at the long dessert table showed many of the other women loading their plates. Edith strolled the display, adding to her dish a little at a time, until she had piled on eclairs, chocolate truffles, and blueberry pie. Arthur never allowed her sweets. Last month he brought home 2 jelly donuts, raspberry for him, and a surprise for her. One bite of those savvy filling, and she begged him to call an ambulance. Arthur said it would pass, and last Valentine's Day he had given her a box of plastic chocolates and a thorn-studded vinyl rose. She had to admit they did last a long time. After excusing her burps and bidding goodnight to the table of women she just met, Edith went up to the suite. Devon arrived a few minutes later with a moaning Arthur. Barbecue, roasted. Don't mind him, Mrs. Cates. He's had too much fun for one night. We played games and had a hot dog cookout, though there was a slight problem with some of the men's buns got charred. Just make sure he sleeps on his stomach tonight. I'll pick him up in the morning for fishing day. With a clipboard in hand, he stepped into the elevator, making an exaggerated checkmark in the air before the doors closed. Edith slid into bed next to Arthur and fell asleep to his incoherent mutterings. Devon was right. Arthur said not a word about the flory decor. When Devon came for him in the morning, a furious Arthur lifted his pyjama top. Edith gasped. Black and blue marks covered Arthur's chest. I didn't sleep a wink last night. I swear there are rocks in this bed. I demand to see the head of housekeeping immediately. Devon shrugged, then strong-armed his charge into the elevator. Sure, Artie, whatever you say. After indulging in 2 chocolate croissants and a cappuccino for breakfast, Edith strolled the lobby and found the easel posting the women's themed activities for the day. She signed up for Fishing for Bargains, a shopping excursion promising to stop at every boutique on the resort's extensive grounds. "Ladies," announced the tour guide as he opened her trolley's seat filled up, "this is fishing day, so each of you get a line of credit. Get it?" Giving them a gold-toothed grin, she added, "Have fun, girls, and hook what you like." Unaccustomed to shopping, Edith at first browsed an antique store in an art gallery. Arthur only let her handle money when he insisted his paper bills be earned. With no need to touch cash of any kind now, Edith eased her way into spending, purchasing a dish towel and refrigerator magnet from the Bermuda Biangle. Once inside the clothing stores though, she bought nearly every item she tried on. Now she understood why an extra trolley bus followed the tour, as shopping bags and boxes filled its interior. She rushed back to the suite with just enough time for her shampoo makeover and discovered a cryptic note from Devon. "Fishing day boat mishap. Waterboarding took longer. Meet you at dinner." Edith hoped they hadn't been late getting on the boat. Arthur was apt to throw a fit if things weren't on time. In keeping with the fishing theme, Edith wore her new mermaid-style dress of fishnet overlaid to dinner. The restaurant echoed the theme of the menu of parmesan-encrusted barracuda, seared shark steak, and mock devilfish stew. She ordered them all. Arthur finally arrived with a damp hair, blotchy face and tinged lips, like he'd been sucking a blue raspberry slush. Shocked by his bedraggled state, Edith tried using her napkin to make him presentable. He pushed her arm away with a few garbled words. Along with the other men, he had problems speaking. Edith returned to the animated conversation with their women table mates, all complimenting each other on their new looks. If Arthur noticed Edith's new outfit and hairstyle, he seemed unable to comment. Just before dessert, Devon whispered to Edith, "I'm taking Artie out for something cold to perk him up. We'll see you back at the room." Edith enjoyed the show that night. An underwater ballet staged in glass-walled aquarium. Retiring to the suite late, she found Devon waiting for her. Arthur was shivering in bed, chattering, "Ice cream, ice cream." "Oh my goodness, Arthur, what happened?" "What can I do?" "Let's just say Artie gave his after-dinner treat a frosty reception. He should be fine by morning for hunt day." Devon bounced into the elevator, rubbing his hands together and chuckling. Edith was startled awake at 5 a.m, aghast to find a whimpering Arthur clinging to the headboard spindles as he fought extraction from the bed. Devon had hold of his ankles, teasing one leg, then the other. One final yank had Arthur off the mattress and onto the floor. With a strong grip on Arthur's lower extremities, the counsellor dragged the pyjama-clad Arthur through the suite and into the elevator. He called over his shoulder, "Don't worry about Artie, we're hunting caveman style today." Edith quivered under the floral bed covers, her eyes wide, as the doors closed in Arthur's feeling. "No!" Edith took advantage of the early hour and joined a sunrise yoga class. After helping herself to a generous sampling of the restaurant's extensive granola bar, she boarded a yacht for Hunt Day's Treasure Quest, a scavenger hunt on the resort's exclusive island. Her orange and blush sarong and gold leather sandals made a perfect outfit for the adventure. Edith laughed till her mascara ran when her team finished their list first by catching a live iguana. She returned to the suite to find another truncated note from Devon. Evening stretch rack on menu. Edith expected Arthur to arrive after the waitstaff served a dinner a flaming rack of lamb. When he still hadn't shown by the end of the meal, she joined her new friends at the resort's production of The Lion King. This was a first for Edith, enjoying the company of other women. She didn't have friends at home. Arthur made sure of it. Any hapless visitors stopping by the house found trays of kitty litter in front of locked bathroom doors. People eventually stopped returning her phone calls, but here no one ignored Edith. The way the brochure had presented the resort, this is not what she had expected the trip to be at all. Edith returned to find a parting gift in the room, a basket filled with every delicious pastry and granola nugget she had enjoyed during her stay. A label attached to the be-ribboned handle read, "Hell in a handbasket, enjoy." She also found all of Arthur's clothes removed, his suitcases gone, and a terse note from Devon. All night hunt, Artie bagged and packed. The last night at the resort, Edith had the luxurious suite to herself. The next morning she languished on the lilac silk sheets while savouring a room service breakfast. She picked out her travelling outfit the night before: black studded leggings with matching spandex shell, a leather bolero jacket, and the most perfect shade of rose, two lavender cowboy boots, and a fringed and hand-painted alligator purse. She called to have her two new suitcases taken down to the front desk. One overflowed with her new wardrobe. The other held a silver iguana picture, a small landscape of her favourite beach, and 6 bottles of champagne. With a wistful farewell to the rosy garden room, she slipped her arm through the goodie basket's handle and she went down to check out. Devon was waiting for her, alone. "Ah, there you are, Mrs. Cates. I have great news. Artie won an award. He held his breath under the water the longest. His prize? Are you ready?" 2 weeks at hell, for free! Edith's eyes flew open. She took a moment before speaking. Arthur always liked something for nothing. Did anyone else win a prize? Oh yes, everyone in the group won an award. They're teaming up with previous award winners as we speak. Devon winked. It's a renewable prize. Some of the boys have been winning the award over and over for quite some time. He then exaggerated a frown. I'm sorry, Mrs. Cates, but you'll be going home alone. Edith stood speechless, twisting a pink sapphire ring she purchased at Hello Dolly Jewellery. She finally managed to wink. Didn't he even want to say goodbye? Devon took Edith by the arm. Of course he did. Come with me. He led her out past the Portatio to her waiting limousine. Look, up at the atrium windows. There's Arnie now. Jumping up and down and waving like a madman, Arthur could be seen behind the thick mesh-embedded glass, screaming a silent, Edith! Oh, how nice, he's trying to get my attention. Bouncing on her toes, Edith gave an enthusiastic wave back. Goodbye, dear. Have a wonderful time. An over-muscled counsellor peeled the frantic and struggling Arthur from the glass and carried him away. Devon scanned his clipboard. Just one more thing before you go, Mrs. Cates. We always like to conduct an exit interview. If you don't mind me asking, how did you and your husband come to hear about this place? Arthur got some information from the mail. I see. You know the resort's very selective about their guests. You had to be referred here to get in. Any idea who might have sent us his name? Oh, that would be me. I had the resort mail him a brochure. I'm the one who sent him to hell.
Well, we hope that you enjoyed our latest horrific tale. If you want to keep up to date with the future episodes, then subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow our social media pages. You can also give the channel support by visiting our merchandise store and picking up some of our items. Please also take a moment to support our contributing artists who very kindly lend their talents to the show. Check out the links in the description on how you can do this. Well, that just leaves me to say, until next time my friends, keep it creepy, keep it horrorific.